You want to play games? Okay. I can play with you. Come on. Okay. Do you want to play rough? Okay.
Uno.
Say hello to my little friend! Okay. You want to play rough? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Do you like that?
Yeah, no, I can hear you though, Cuzzo. So let's crack on.
Alright, so boom. Like I was saying, yeah, because of like the emotion that you're dealing with, you're using sources, and whenever the source is saying something that goes against what you believe, you don't read it and understand what it's saying. Two clear-cut examples of this. The first one, I think it was like the last source you used, the science in terms of dualism, where you're trying to make dualism seem like a joke in the scientific world. And you said, no scientist in the world disregards this theory.
It says most, it's here, the source is here. It says most scientists.
What does the sentence say? Read it out again.
Okay, it says most scientists today have disregarded this view known as dualism to embrace the view of consciousness. Huh?
You said most.
Yeah.
So that's not all.
Then I said, brother, I'm reading an article. It's not my words saying this. You're trying to say I said. I did not say nothing. I'm reading an article.
No, you said like that's like.
Of course it is.
Really happy. Like that's proof, innit?
Most scientists. I'm reading an article that your theory does. Most scientists they disregard it. They're throwing it away. They're saying it's garbage. That's what they're saying, bro.
Okay.
And I have many more sources that can validate what I'm saying.
Okay, so you're saying that most people are saying it's not true, that there's an immaterial aspect, and that's where consciousness comes from, right?
They're saying that it's supernatural. It's saying it's spookism.
Toasty! Yeah, but what does the word supernatural mean in this context?
In this context, it says it's created towards supernatural, suggesting that human and probably other animals possess an immaterial soul.
Right.
Yes.
So there's an immaterial aspect. So that means a non-material aspect that is referred to as consciousness.
No, supernatural. They're talking about the term supernatural.
Yeah, but in this context, what does the word supernatural mean? It means an immaterial aspect of living things like humans and animals.
No, it doesn't say that, brother. You're telling me, yeah, about my sources, and you're saying that I'm reading my sources and I'm not understanding what I'm saying. You're not understanding what I just said. I'm gonna read it again. Let me read it again. What's the
context of supernatural?
Let me read it again.
What do they mean by supernatural? What's the context of supernatural?
That is spookism. It's not scientific.
What's the context of spookism? What do they mean?
It's nothing scientific. It's a belief system. It's belief. That's what supernatural.
What is a belief? Belief of what?
I'm gonna show you. Let me read it again. The early theories of what on what consciousness is and how it's been created. Wait, let me finish, brother. Listen, I'm only reading what it says. It's very clear. It's early theories of what our consciousness is and how it's being created tends towards the supernatural. That's your concept, the early theories. It's not a fact. For one, it's not a fact. They're talking about theories now, and it tends to supernatural, suggesting that the humans and probably the other animals possess an immaterial soul that they confer consciousness. So
exactly. So the idea that it's supernatural is based on the idea that there's an immaterial aspect that we call consciousness, right? So it's immaterial. That's what they're calling, in these most scientists, is saying that's supernatural, that's spookism. Consciousness immaterial, right? Okay, so you also gave another source that suggested that consciousness stems somehow with the electromagnetic field.
Okay.
Is that not the case as well?
That's a fact.
No, that wasn't a fact. That was a theory.
That was a
theory that one of the guys said. No, that wasn't a fact. That was a theory.
Let's go back on some sources.
You can read your own source. He said it. It's a theory.
So, there's many. So, okay.
One thing you have to see.
Okay.
One sec. One thing you have to see. Every one of your sources had a different version of events for how the physical world created consciousness. Because nobody is clear on how it happened. Even the scientists.
No,
that
they're clear.
think it came
You
from
missed
the
my whole thing, brother. I don't listen. You're arguing. I don't think you understood what I read. They all contribute to the unified consciousness. I explained this in my whole presentation. It's about other aspects of tangible sources unifying to create the human consciousness. You just don't understand what is out in your face and what is facts, brother. I have clearly.
I heard that. All right, cool.
No. Now, see, look, Max, that's disingenuous because you just said that I did not present that. And that the whole presentation is the fact that different sources.
That is what you said. I agree.
So
Okay, so what
what?
I'm saying is, some of your sources say that this is a specific source of consciousness, and other sources say this is a specific source of consciousness. Now you are saying that all of them are the same, are one unified field. These are all three different approaches because
they all come
let
to.
me finish. Brad, let's not talk over each other. One at a time.
Yeah, but you're not making sense, Max. What you're saying is incorrect, fam. What you're saying is incorrect.
No, how is it incorrect? Because what you said just now, like you said, your idea is that all of these are unified aspects of consciousness.
No, I did not say that, brother. I did not say that, brother. See, this is what I'm saying. This is the point. I did not say all of these aspects are unified consciousness. I did not say that, brother. See, look. This is what.
What did you say? Go on.
This is what's very frustrating with you. Brother. I got sources. I got screenshots of when you coming up with stuff that don't make sense.
What did you say? Correct me.
Okay, let me say. I'll make it clear again. I've been making it clear every time I speak upon this subject. I said there is many aspects that comes together to create the unified consciousness.
Right.
So start there.
Okay, cool, right? So you're saying there's many aspects that come together to create unified consciousness. That's right, yeah?
Yeah.
And these sources that you've used are showing these many aspects. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, according to the different sources you've used, the theories that they've applied doesn't say what you said. They say, like, again, the guy that says that
Which one?
comes from the electromagnetic field, that's what he believes.
Which one?
The one that said it comes, there's only one that done that, innit? Only one that says he's got the theory that it arose from the electromagnetic field. Even though we can't see it, that was even what the sentence said. Even though we can't see it, it doesn't mean it's not there. That's how he worded it.
Yeah, electromagnetic field, you can't see but you can test it, bro.
You know, but when he said see, he means in the sense that...
No, it doesn't mean that, bro, because he's a scientist. It doesn't mean that. You can't interpret what it means. He said electromagnetic field. That is something testable. That is tangible.
Yeah, the field
he wouldn't
is
use
the emergence of consciousness from the field. That's what he said you can't see. That's what he said.
Okay, let's go back to where what source was that then?
Go back and read it, yeah?
Which one?
While you find that, let me make the point I'm making.
Fine.
He said that you cannot perceive the emergence of consciousness from the electromagnetic field. And then another source you says that the emergence of consciousness comes from the brain. It comes from the senses, right? It comes from the senses, basically.
No, it doesn't, bro.
So both are not true. Both are not true. Do you get what I mean? It's one or the other.
All right, can I explain?
Saying it comes from... No, but both are not true. Because
no, but I'm going to explain it. I think you missed the point.
Hear what I'm saying. Both are not true because if you've got an electromagnetic field, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have senses. Do you understand?
Senses create electromagnetic field. I'm sorry. Everything that
brain activity. No, brain activity does.
No, everything. Max, are you losing the plot right now? Neurons.
Say what you're saying.
Neurons. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't know the basics. Neurons. Actual potential. We went through it.
It creates senses. You can have brain activity without sense.
Brother.
Like I can be blind.
Max,
I can literally be blind. No, let me make this point. I can literally be blind.
Okay.
And think of the color green. Say I lost my fucking I lost my eyesight. I can think of the color green and ignite the areas of the brain that were green, but my eyes don't work. There's literally no light coming in my eyes. So I'm not sensing anything.
How would you know it's green?
I'm just because I used to sense, so I knew the color green before. So
neurons have what you call DNA. It's got genetic memory. That's the answer. answer.
Alright,
That's the
fair
answer,
enough,
brother.
But the point I'm making here is that the emergence of consciousness, according to one person, was the electromagnetic field in and of itself.
All of them, most of them,
In the DNA.
all of them.
Remember, his thing was in the DNA.
Yes,
His thing was in the DNA. So
Yes.
this is long before there's a brain.
yes.
This is in the DNA he's
You,
talking about.
you must have missed the first slide, bro. I went to the origin.
No, I'm making a specific point.
Yeah,
point.
but you
So you've
missed my
got
first
two
slide.
Theories.
You missed
on
my
how
first slide.
consciousness-
Because it talks about
What
the
did the
origin.
first slide say? Go on. What did
It
the
talks
first
about
slide
the
say?
origin. Go back. It go back to the origin. I hope
What was the first? What did it say? Go on. What did
it talks about how organisms come to create consciousness. It goes to life. We talk about bacteria, prokaryotic, eukaryotics, and they talk about
No,
life.
I didn't miss that because that's another one of my points. I know I hear that point, but this is another one of my points here. So these organisms created consciousness, yeah. But then another one of your slides said that consciousness didn't exist until animals. Do you feel me?
No,
They said
brother.
that until animals, then there wasn't consciousness. So which one is it?
What source is that? Because I got that source up, man. Are you looking at?
This was on your first one, yeah. So this was when you was talking about the 3 stages, the early stages.
Yeah,
of consciousness,
I'm
innit?
on them here
So
now.
you can see, yeah, they were saying at the bacterial level, there's a level of consciousness. But
It
then
doesn't, no, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that much, fit. You said
What does it say?
it says it's life.
What does it say?
It says it's life. It's here.
What does it say?
It's life. It's here. First level of
Yeah,
life.
yeah. What does it say about consciousness and the
There's
the
no
3 stages, the
consciousness
3
there.
levels?
There's no consciousness there.
So in early life, in bacteria, there's no consciousness.
No.
Okay. So, all right, define consciousness.
Let's go back to the definition. Come. Let's go back.
Yeah, let's go to the original, the first slide, innit?
First slide. Okay. Cambridge Dictionary. The state of understanding and realizing something. Another thing. It says the state of being awake, thinking and knowing what is happening around you. Webster Dictionary. The quality or state of being aware, especially of something within oneself. The state of being conscious of an external subject, state or fact. Wikipedia. Yeah, conscious is a sentence or awareness of internal and external existence. That's what it means. That's all it means.
So, okay, so a bacteria, does a bacteria have awareness of its external environment?
But the source says it doesn't. Let's go back to the source.
How does this? I'm asking you. Does a bacteria know when there's food outside of the walls of the bacteria?
Consciously, no.
What do you mean consciously no?
I consciously no.
I don't understand the answer.
Because
So are you saying it has no idea when there's food outside of it, so it doesn't know whether to let in food or not? It doesn't know.
brother, consciously not.
What does that mean? So what you
That
saying is
means that-
automatic?
that
Some-
means,
some
yeah,
other
there's
thing,
m-
just like water running down the path. Food
We
just
know,
goes in, that's it.
we know that positive and negative attract each other. Conscience, it don't have to be conscience for fields to interact. For example, compounds, yeah, compounds, yeah, like elements, yeah.
No, but cells are
Element,
different.
no, they're not different. Nothing different. They're all. We are talking about tangible stuff. Nothing is different, brother. Subatomic. Wait, let me finish. Subatomic particles, atoms, electrons, neutrons, and protons and neutrons. They all work in a certain field, DNA and etc. Yeah, they all emit. Yeah, electromagnetic fields. Everything in existence lets off electromagnetic field. That's a fact.
So
That
what
doesn't
you're
mean
saying
that
is
it is
there's no
conscience.
difference.
That doesn't mean that it's conscience. That's my point.
So according to you, then there is no difference between a living thing and a non-living thing.
There's no difference. There's no difference. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't understand what you
You
mean.
see that? What you just said there, that's your own science.
Yeah, but no,
Because
what do you
there's
mean? I didn't know what,
scientists.
brother, I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean. We're talking about
What I
consciousness.
mean by that
Please.
is there's a world full of scientists that will quite convenient, quite easily admit to you that there's biology, and then there's other fields, physics, chemistry, to denote the difference that living matter has. There's plenty of scientists. I don't need to get sources because this is well documented. There is a difference between living matter and inanimate matter. You know, the link between all living matter on the planet in itself. The fact that there is no new source of life has ever been found. All life on this planet has come from pre-existing life. We can never ever see life start from an inanimate object. Do you follow what I'm saying? Like, you can put chemicals together and make a new chemical compound.
Yeah.
But you can never put chemicals together and make life.
He told you that.
No
He told you that.
No one's ever seen it happen in nature because it doesn't happen here.
You need to look at other theories then. You need to look at that spark of life theory. You need to look at other theories, man.
No, these are theories, but what I'm saying is...
Yeah, but your concept is a theory as well.
It's been evidence.
Yeah, but your concept is a theory as well, though, Matsfi. Your concept is a theory.
No, but what I'm talking
It's
about
not
now is accepted science globally. It's never been... I'm talking about evidence, like what you like here.
No, but you have to show and prove, though, Matt. You have to show and prove.
You can create life from non-living things. Because there's a difference. It's been demonstrated in many ways. You cannot put any amount of chemicals. The RTCGA, the chemical compound of our DNA are so complicated. So the scientists accept that it's the idea that they randomly came together in the beginning of life. Doesn't make no sense because the odds of it randomly occurring are so mad that it doesn't make sense. But even if that is what happened, it's never happened again since because all life on the planet can be sourced back to the same DNA strand, to the same genetic code, to the same gene.
Where does DNA come from?
Yeah, because they don't know where life began. They can't explain life. And what I would say, they can't explain the beginning of conscious according to material science. But forget what I would say. I want to stick on this point that you're suggesting that there is no difference between living matter and non-living matter. That is your own theory.
No, I don't know. Brother, if you heard me 2 minutes ago, I didn't know what you're saying. I don't understand why you give me this question. It's nothing to do with what my topic is, and I was a little bit confused.
No, it is because remember, the point of my whole thing is consciousness is the root of one of your sources says it's the essence of life.
No, but it's not. But it's not though. That's not the meaning. You're making it up.
Yeah, I hear that. All right. So on what you've done there, this definition.
Huh?
So on what you've done there, that definition there.
Yeah.
We've been saying to you for ages. The other lady said it to you. I said it to you again after you had that conversation with her. There's what you are talking about in this definition here, and one of your sources mentioned
that's the only definition.
Yeah. She says consciousness. There's a difference between the totality of consciousness and sensory consciousness. What you are always describing is sensory consciousness.
That's incorrect, brother. Sorry. You're making hella mistakes, man.
This is the definition and the point you're making about. But what I'm saying is, the point I've always tried to raise, and the lady tried to raise to you the other time, that's why she was asking, what do you mean by consciousness? What do you mean by consciousness?
Yeah.
Because there's another version of events where we say that the actual
theory
of a living thing is that it's not that it's a theory, it's to define there is an actual difference between living and non-living matter. And it is that aspect of consciousness that defines the difference. You are saying there's no difference. What I'm saying to you is that is your theory, because the whole world understands there is a difference between living matter and non-living matter, and there is evidence to show you cannot get living matter from non-living matter. It won't happen. No matter how much labs you got, no matter how much...
You don't wait, tell again, you can't get life from dead.
From death?
Yeah.
No, but even death is organic matter.
Yeah, but Martin, what you saying? I'm confused, brother.
I said non-living matter is not organic. There's organic and non-organic, right? There's like he's talking about. There's iron in the ore form, and there's iron in the plant mineral form.
Yeah.
Right? You know about that science. These are two different forms of the same mineral. Now, I might be made of minerals, but I'm an organism that has utilized these minerals to be a living body. Yeah. And I would argue, this is just my opinion and my theory, as you would say, it's the consciousness that my body has that has allowed minerals to be used in this way. But whether you want to agree with that or not, What I'm saying is that there is a definable and evidence difference between living matter and non-living matter. And there's no amount of mixtures of non-living, non-organic matter you can put together that's just going to turn into life. Case in point, the fact that all life on this planet is linked. It's all linked. It's all goes back to the same genome, because one source of life seems to have created all of this life. Just evolutionary process. It's all linked, right? It's all one big family, right?
Yeah. I'm hearing you.
This is the evidence that there is a difference between non-living matter and living matter. And my point is, consciousness is that difference, is that essence of life.
Yeah, but you don't have the theory, innit?
What we saying is a theory? That consciousness is the difference, or that is a difference?
Your whole philosophy, what you just broke down to me right now, is a theory.
What? That there is a difference between non-living and living?
No, your whole concept.
No, alright, answer me this one more time, just so I can really hear what you're saying. You're saying that there is no difference between living matter and non-living matter.
I would say they're both of the same. There's yin and yang in it. There's always one. And if there's one, there's another.
So what are you saying? On Mars, there's organic matter. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying if there's a yin, there's a yang. But I don't know.
In the sun, there's organic matter. Is this what you're saying?
Now I'm just lost, brother. I'm just lost on this. I don't know where we went from.
Alright, I don't know how else to make it more simpler. Alright, metal, yeah?
Yeah.
Is there a difference between metal and a leaf?
Yeah, of course.
And what's the difference?
That one's man-made, one's hybrid by man, and one's natural by thingy. By nature.
And when you say natural by nature, because even the metal is made by nature. So, you know, metal isn't necessarily made by man either. There's metal ore in the ground. Right now, you could go find metal in the ground.
So I'm just confused, bro. So
I'm asking you, is there a difference between a living leaf on a tree, and metal?
I'm saying
You're
yes.
saying the difference
yes.
is one is man-made and one is made by nature, but I'm saying they're both made by nature. So that doesn't make the difference. So what other difference is there?
Well, there probably ain't no difference then.
So they're exactly the same thing.
I might be wrong.
So you're saying they're the same thing, and what I'm trying to say now, you're saying that you have your own theory of how this whole world works, because the whole scientific community is in agreement that there is a difference between living matter and non-living matter.
You said the whole scientific community. When I showed you a source that they're saying that now most scientific community has disregarded your concept.
No, I'm not talking about consciousness. Just for 1 second. Just listen to what I'm saying here. I'm making a specific point. So
yeah, fair enough. I haven't done my research on that. I can't answer that, brother. I just don't know. I'm sorry.
All right, but this is the problem with your understanding of consciousness. This is
why are we going back to consciousness now when we weren't going back to consciousness?
Yeah, because living things, because the whole point about the point of consciousness is the point that it is the essence of life. This is the thing I was trying to say to you. This is my view. I'm not talking about what your sources say. I'm talking about my view. So the whole point of my whole thing that you're saying is wrong.
Yeah, but I don't accept your view.
All right, cool. You don't accept. Cool.
I've been saying that. I don't know what. I've been saying it.
All right. I hear that.
I cannot accept it. The reason why I can't accept it. The reason why I can't accept it is because it's a belief system. You can't prove what you're saying.
All right, I hear you. I've heard you. You said it bare times. I hear you. You don't accept it, yeah? But what I'm saying, the reasoning for this version of events that I am pushing is based on the fact that there's a difference between living and non-living. That is the basis of it.
So we can start on that conversation.
If you see no difference.
No, but I haven't even created my perspective on it. I haven't put my mind my mind is on what I've been speaking about for the last 2 hours. So you can give me time, and we can get a discussion.
No, I hear that, but you know what that means? That means you've never heard my theory then. and I've been debating this with you for nearly 2 years now.
No,
I've been talking about this from the beginning as the core key to life.
but I'm saying that I don't agree with that.
As an element of life.
I'm saying I don't agree with that though.
All right. So
I don't agree. I don't agree.
You don't agree with that because you don't even see the difference between life and non-life.
No, that's not because of that. That's not because of that. I don't agree with it because my understanding of it makes more sense to me. Because when I do my biological studies and know how DNA works and how the microbiome works and how the sensory surface the sensory nervous system works and the peripheral nervous system, it makes sense to me. But when I start to deep your philosophy and your understanding of consciousness, it doesn't add up. So I cannot accept what you're saying. And then you don't provide me with no sources or no reference, and then you just want me to believe you. And that's my problem. And then if I do that, then I might as well jump straight back to Christianity. That's my thing. And that's my point. I can't stand on what people are just telling me, bro.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense on my studies of neurons, and it don't add up. It doesn't add up.
Okay, I hear that, but hear what I'm saying, and then we move on to my last point. Then, yeah. So this is what I'm trying to say right now. The whole point about consciousness from the beginning is trying to explain life.
Yeah, but who told you that? Who told you? Who told you? Show me where that.
No, bro, you're saying who told you that, but that's not the point right now. I'm trying to just tell you what my theory is that you can't accept. I hear that you can't accept it. I hear that you can't accept it.
No, but you're you're trying to say that most scientists view it your way. You're saying that. You're saying that most scientists. So show me where. Show me where.
Bro, you know there's a field called biology?
Yeah, I know there's a field called biology.
Because there's a difference between living things and non-living things. So they made a field just to study living things and the difference.
They made many fields. They made neurobiology. They made microbiology. There's many
because neurons are a certain type of cell.
No, but they do it. But science do that in every field. You're going on like
but the reason you specify a field is because there's a specific thing that needs study in and of itself.
Yeah, that's all it is.
That's all it is. So biology, living things.
It doesn't mean that it's separate though. It doesn't mean that it's separate though. It doesn't mean that it's a separate thing. Because you can have.
I didn't say separate. I said it's different. They're not the same. There's a difference.
Okay.
Bro, the second point I've used to prove the difference is the many. I've said it several times, bro. It's evidence that you cannot get life from non-life. It's evidence that all life comes from the same source via the genome. It's everyone's family, right? You've said it several times. All life on this planet comes. It's evidence that we do not see new life just appear anywhere on this planet. There's theories on how it must have started. Say that again.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
So no. It's not that that's fine. The point I'm using these points as evidence to show the difference between life and non-life. That the whole science of biology is based on. Because of these realities that are evidence, people realize, wow, you know what? Life is not the same. It's not normal. It's not like
how are you gonna relate that to consciousness? How can you? Because now you're talking on science on stuff that I agree with. I agree. I have no problem.
No.
But then how are you gonna relate that? How are you gonna relate? How are you gonna relate that? How are you gonna relate that with consciousness? And shall I make that make sense?
Bro, I'm doing it.
No, you're not doing that. You're not doing that,
man. Bob. Because what did I call consciousness just now? The essence of life.
Yeah, but that's made up.
Essence of life. Have I not always said?
That's made up.
No, you're saying
you made that up.
No, but you're saying I didn't make that up. I've heard it many places, and it's the basis of the logic of the life. Life is different. That is the basis of the logic. Living things have consciousness. Non-living things don't. That is the basis of the logic.
No, that's a
living
basis
things
of a theory.
have consciousness. That is the basis of the whole thing. If there's no difference between living things, say that again.
Of the theory of the
difference between life and non-life.
Whatever facts that whatever perspective or philosophy that you just spoke to me about, it's based on a theory. It's a concept that it was created by
what? The
you.
theory that what?
That consciousness is the essence of life.
Okay, all right. So what that comment is trying to denote is the difference between living and non-living things. That's the point of that statement.
So they might be using the wrong term. They might be using the wrong term.
Yeah, you don't like the term, but this has been pointed out to you several times, bro. I've said it to you. The girl said it to you. That word means different things to many people. So it's not about the word. It's about understanding what are we describing.
Man, you miss it. All right, listen to my point now. Listen to my point. All right, let me just. You have a definition. Yeah, I give this analogy in the beginning. You have a definition. The definition of evolution. Evolution. If you Google it, the meaning definition, it only means to change, things to change. That's all it means. Yeah. So, but when people talk about evolution, they always put the Darwin theory with it. Yeah. They put the Darwin theory to it. Yeah. Misconception, because there's many theories on evolution, and Darwin theory ain't the one. Yeah. So what I'm saying with you, yeah, you took the term consciousness, yeah, and created it, and then jumped on a theory, and then tried to associate it with the word and what it means. And there's a clear difference. There's a clear difference between what it means and the theory. That's my point. I
hear you. I accept that. I accept what you're saying.
That's my point.
And you know why that happened. No, right. So back on the point of evolution, the reason that people misconstrue the term evolution, which just means things to change, and Darwin's theory, is because Darwin's theory is called Darwin's theory of evolution.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So that is why. So again, the reason why the term consciousness that I'm using in the context of the essence of life and consciousness as in aware of are misconstrued is because consciousness, the ability to be aware of something, is a trait only living things have. So sometimes when people say the term conscious, they're talking about a thing being conscious of something. But when sometimes the term consciousness is used, you're referring to something that has the ability to be conscious, which is a living thing. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That is where the conflation happens. And I've tried to say it many times, and the woman tried to say it to you the other time on the phone. When we use the word, you have to understand it's different meanings. It's not just what you're consciously aware of. No, but I just explained it to you. There is a different meaning, because to be conscious of something isn't to say consciousness, and to be conscious of is not the same thing.
Brother, listen, Kazi, I have done a presentation of the meaning of consciousness. Yeah, no, you didn't see, because the meaning has only one meaning. Yeah,
well, just like evolution, right?
And they have theories. Theories you conducted on the definition of the word. You cannot put the theory onto the word. And that's what you have done. And that's what you keep on doing.
Man's doing that, but telling you. So what's the problem? Man is telling you what I'm describing with this word.
Which is a theory.
Don't like the word, I've said this to you several times. We could just use the word spirit. It doesn't matter.
It's theory. It's theory. It's your theory.
What's a theory?
Theory is a concept.
An explanation, right?
A concept. An explanation that don't have to provide evidence, because it's not a scientific theory.
It's not that it don't have to, there has to be evidence. It has to be
not scientific theories conduct evidence. Theories could be made up.
Look, a theory is based on observation. You say something that fits. Do you understand? So based on if my tissue paper fell on the floor, the theory is something has made it fall on the floor, because I've seen it fall on the floor. So the evidence is it's falling on the floor. So now I'm going to explain a reason why that might have happened. But there's definitely a fact that the tissue fell on the floor. Do you understand? So
there might be some
explains a version of events to explain what you can see, what you know to be true. It's a version of events. It might not be accurate. It might be incorrect. But the point of the theory is to explain what you can see to be true. That is what a theory does. You don't just say, I'm made of fire. Because
How do
clearly
you
I'm
hold
not
the
made
word?
of fire. That's not a theory that I'm made of fire. That doesn't make no sense.
No, I would say no. I would say it doesn't get made in the way you're describing it like that, yeah?
Okay.
And I can explain that. But the point I'm making about you not liking this term, the reason the term is used, because what denotes living things is the ability to be conscious. That's what denotes. You say everything is linked to the brain, right? But trees know when the sun is shining. They know when it's hot. They know when it's cold. They react
Through
to
what?
their environment.
How? Explain how
They
that.
grow towards the sun. They
Through
grow
what?
towards the sun. Would you say that again?
How? Why?
Because they sense the sunlight. They grow towards the sun.
Bro, it's called photosynthesis, yeah? And it's radiation, it's electromagnetic radiation that get emitted from the sun, where and the plants
And the plants what?
and the plants like a positive and a little positive and a negative charge conceives. It directs to it. You see what I'm saying? Positive and negative go together. You get where I'm coming from? You get, yeah? No? I'm trying to explain it, but
The plant still grows towards the sun.
because of the radiation, electron radiation.
Yeah, so it senses.
Photosynthesis.
It senses what's going on in its environment and
It
reacts to what's going on in its environment.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that it has consciousness though, bro.
No, but this is my point about consciousness. How does it say?
You just said that. Why you're trying to say the reason why the sun the plants go into the sun is because they wanted to. That's what you're trying to say, because they had a choice to.
Because they sense the sun, and what is
Through what?
defined? That which is capable of being aware. If you're capable of showing awareness of what's going on in your environment and then reacting.
How do you sense? How does the plant sense it? How does it sense it? How does it sense it? Because now,
the light hits it.
yes, electromagnetic, electromagnetic waves. Yeah. This is what. Yeah.
That's the same way I sense things. There's no difference. I sense the same thing the way that the plant senses.
Yeah, but this is where you're stuck now, because this is what my whole presentation was about.
Go on.
Electromagnetic fields, radiation, yeah,
Right.
is consciousness. That's what it is. That's what it is. This is what creates consciousness.
Electromagnetic field is consciousness.
Creates consciousness. Yes, that's what my whole presentation is about.
Okay, so you're saying electromagnetic fields create consciousness. Cool, right?
Yeah.
That's your theory.
That's what I proved. That's what.
Yeah, that's your theory.
Yeah.
But then why are you disagreeing that the plant has consciousness? Because the plant has electromagnetic field too.
It doesn't mean that brother. It's more than just having atoms and brother, atoms, yeah, and subatomic particles have everything got electromagnetic field.
Yeah, you said that.
But they're not conscious, brother. They're not conscious. There's levels to having consciousness. Consciousness don't occur because of life. It doesn't occur. That's my point. It doesn't occur because of it's alive. And that's where me and you differ. There's the origin of consciousness in my presentation. I told you, I broke down, or the source broke down the levels of where non-consciousness turns into consciousness.
Yeah, that's what your thing says.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Your definition of consciousness. Yeah, I'm sorry, but your definition of consciousness says to be aware. I'm showing you how the plant is aware of its existence.
No, you're not proving that. It's not aware because of the electromagnetic frequency projected. It's like gravity. You have to pull. Gravity is pulling. It's not conscious that it's pulling. That's what it does. That's the force that it does. That's the force that it does. It just do what it does.
No, but the plant
is photosynthesis. It's photosynthesis.
No, but the plant actually.
You can't prove that, brother.
And then it actually makes.
It makes what?
The plant actually makes branches and grows in a particular direction.
Because of electromagnetic. I just explained why it does that, brother, and you're not accepting it. That's the thing. I said electromagnetic. I said photosynthesis.
That's not that. It's explain how the plant knows it actually changes.
It doesn't know.
Of its flowers.
No, but what I'm saying,
Direction of its leaf.
It doesn't know. It doesn't know to know. It does what it does.
It reacts to its environment, bro. must be aware of its environment. It moves. Some plants move with the movement of the sun. They're very aware the sun's moving over there. Some
It's
plants
not.
move towards water. Some plants grow their roots towards
Brother.
water. Like there's a stream next to it.
Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. How do you grow fucking cannabis? It's not the sun now. It's using UV rays, brother. UV rays. Yeah? The plants grow because it needs UV rays to grow. Brother, so it don't matter. It's there ain't no conscience about. They just need a substance. What does the human body or prokaryotic need? The cyanobacteria needed to produce oxygen to survive.
Exactly.
Yeah. The other microorganisms that predated and was alive at that time, they use oxygen molecules in a different way. Yeah, and the photosynthesis, what created for the electromagnetic. No, the photosynthesis from the sun to the microbiome created what we know as oxygen. Yeah, this is what made the cyanobacteria go through natural selection, and the rest of the bacteria die off. Yeah.
So what you're suggesting, is that a plant that reacts to the sun, it senses the sun, right? You can't deny it senses.
No, right? UV rays, bro. UV rays.
What do you mean no UV rays? It senses the UV rays.
Yeah, the UV rays. So it's not particular.
It senses that, right? It senses the UV rays.
Yeah.
It senses the UV rays.
Yeah. It conducts.
That means it has an awareness.
No, it doesn't mean that, brother.
No, what does sense mean? It's something that doesn't have an awareness sense anything.
Senses, yeah. Sensory nervous system, yeah. Sensory,
you're just jumping away from the point.
No, we're talking about senses. Senses. What is sense?
If it's aware, it's senses.
No, brother. Sensory input, yeah. Senses. These are all conducted by receptors.
Yeah.
If you know the biology of how things work, you wouldn't come up with these statements, bro. How you sense things. Wait. Let me say. How you sense things is through chemoreceptors, photoreceptors, olfactory receptors. You know what I mean? Gustatory receptors.
Can a non-living thing sense something?
Yes.
Non-living things can sense.
Oh, a non-living thing can sense something. To a certain extent, yeah. Certain extent, I think.
Explain this extent that a non-living thing can explain how a stone can sense something.
No, I'm gonna explain how. What do you mean by living though? Nah, so yeah. Let me.
Bro, you don't know what living things are now. Big man thing. Is that what you're gonna say?
Toasty!
Your argument. You're gonna say you don't know what a living thing is.
No, but I wanna, brother. Before I answer, I wanna get your perspective. What?
Big man thing. Bro, if you don't know what a living thing is, I don't know how to explain it to you, bro.
I'm looking.
DNA, bro. Things with DNA.
Okay, fine. Yeah, fine. Okay.
It's something that doesn't have DNA sense something.
Can things without DNA sense something? Even then, that's a little bit hard still.
It's not hard. You're just making it hard.
Nah, man, it's not. It's not.
It's so not hard. A child would know the answer to that question.
Nah.
She ain't a line of
No, because you're this, brother. You're only dealing with logic. You're dealing with logic. When you're a scientist, yeah. When you do your when you actually.
Wow, man said when you're a scientist.
Yeah.
Bro, this one is not rocket science, bro. You don't need to be a scientist to understand.
Let me explain why. Let me explain why.
Only living things do.
No, let me explain why. Because when I know about the sensory input, these are all.
Wow.
Yeah, but let me explain and tell you why. When you deal with the sensory input, we deal with ions. So unless you're gonna say ions are living things, that's where it's problematic. Because ions.
Bro, I don't know.
Yeah, but as I'm saying, you don't know. But I'm explaining it to you. Ions, for you to see, for you to taste, for you to hear, ions have to be present.
That's what I'm saying, brother.
For me to taste, for me to sense, for me to hear, I have to be alive. I have to be alive. You're talking about ions. You have to be alive.
Is ions alive?
All over the place.
Is ions alive?
In a living entity, there will be no sensing happening.
Is ions alive?
No, I'm alive.
Is ions alive?
Listen, I'm made of the same minerals the floor is made of.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But I'm alive. The floor is not alive.
How do you know it's not alive, brother?
Ions. Doesn't mean there's ions in the floor.
What's the definition of life? What's the definition of life? Your understanding of life?
A living thing is that which is aware, that which can sense, that which is conscious, that which is sentient.
I need to Google the word.
You need to Google the word because you don't know what you're a big boy scientist, but you don't know what living things are.
I know what living things are. Yeah.
Well, what are they then?
What you explained, yeah.
Alright, so I'm right then.
Brother, you can be alright with a lot of stuff, brother. I'm not trying to say, I don't know why you think I'm always attacking you, bro.
No, you know what's getting me? Because you're avoiding a simple, this is what you do. It's such a simple thing, but for the sake of your argument, you won't accept it. The plant senses the sun, but you don't want to accept that. If it senses the sun, that means it's alive, but you don't
No. I said it senses the sun, remember? But I said that I don't know if it... Well, no, I didn't say...
You said whatever you said, but you wouldn't accept that it's sensing it means it's alive.
No, what I'm saying is, I'm not trying to say it's consciousness. It's not, it's conscience. It's not about...
No, but what is...
I'm not debating it.
Consciousness is to be aware, isn't it?
Yeah, so how can he say the meaning of life is to be aware, and the exact same meaning of what's consciousness is? I don't, like, how can you say that?
I explain it, I'll explain it again. Because there's something to be conscious of, that is to be aware of. And then there is that which can be conscious. A living thing has the capability.
Where can I Google that?
Conscious.
Where can I Google that? I can Google that, yeah?
You don't have to just hear what I'm saying, because these are just words I'm using. But if you understand the words, you don't have to Google shit. You can just disagree or agree. But do you hear what I'm saying? If you're conscious of something, that predicts I have the ability to be conscious of something. You must see what I'm saying. If I can see light, that means I have the ability to see light.
Yeah.
It's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying, a living thing is that which has the ability to be conscious of things, to be aware of things, to perceive things, to sense things.
No, I wouldn't agree with that. I wouldn't agree with that then. I'm sorry. Because there's living things that don't have no consciousness.
What don't you agree? Because I can go
living things don't... There's some living things that don't have no consciousness.
Yeah, well, this is my point. What you're going to suggest to debate that. Any living thing experiences some level of awareness of its environment. That's the point I'm trying to make. All living things, because it has to interact with its environment. All living things are part of one big system, so they have to interact with nature. So even a red blood cell in my body, it's on its own is a living thing. You take it outside of my body, it's still alive, and on some level it's going to look for food. At some level it's going to look for some sort of nourishment and try and live this little red blood cell life, and then it will die. Because that's what living things do. Like the plant, it's going to look for life. It's going to look for more life. So it's going to look for the sunlight. It's going to look for the water. It's going to rotate. It's going to do different things, produce certain chemicals to protect itself when it feels itself get damaged. It's going to react to its environment.
Has robots got consciousness?
Who?
Robots.
No. Robots are not conscious. They just do what they're programmed to do.
Yeah, but they're made up of natural substance that you may consider as alive.
No, everything is made up of the same thing as the planet. I said a second ago, I'm made of the same thing as the floor, but the floor is not alive and I am alive. The consciousness that I'm talking about,
you have to be living.
Systemic consciousness. For example, me as a conscious being, right? Even you pointed this out. There's 3 elements to this level up to one level of conscious heart, the gut, right? But if you go deeper than that, and what I was saying a second ago, my consciousness is made up of all the cells of my body, which have their own individual consciousness. All of them are systemically coming together to create my whole body, which I have the higher consciousness.
No, that's what I've been saying, Maxie. That's what I've been saying.
No, you're not. I'm just making this point to explain why robot isn't the same.
Okay.
Because my consciousness is part of a system of consciousness. All the cells of my body, every last one of them are on some level conscious of their own existence. their own a need to go about their own business. You understand?
So we don't have no elements. So we don't have elements and trace minerals and all that in our body.
Wait, and then if you go deeper than a cell, then you have the DNA strands, and each DNA strand is in itself conscious of itself and its own function and its requirement to do its own individual job.
How?
Each DNA strand is going about its own business, trying to reproduce itself, trying to do the right thing, not get fucked up, not get corrupted.
No, how? Explain how. What?
Explain how what?
What is a DNA strand? What is a DNA strand?
How DNA reproduce themselves?
No, what is a DNA? What is it? What is it composed of?
It's the most basic molecule of life.
What is it composed of? What is it composed of?
CTGA, bro. There's four elements, and these makes the molecule called DNA.
Elements.
CTGA. Yeah, the four CTGA.
What are they made of?
I can't remember the name, what DNA actually stands for, but it's made of four.
Yeah, but what is that made of? That substance that you're talking about, the four, what's it made of?
ATCG.
Yeah, but what's it made of, I'm asking?
The molecule, the DNA molecule.
Yeah, the four ATGC, yeah, what is it? What is it? No, what is it made of? What is it made of?
What do you mean, what is it made of?
It's made of, no, it's made of nitrogen, bro. They're nitrogen based.
No, it's a protein. It's a protein, bro. So.
Oh Lord have mercy, brother.
It's not just nitrogen, bro.
It's nitrogen based. That's what they're called. They're nitrogen based.
Yeah, you can say nitrogen based.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Carbon based animals. Listen, to make a DNA molecule, you need.
So are you telling me that nitrogen is alive?
Bro, you're not hearing what I said how many times, bro. I am made of the same minerals the floor is made out of.
But is it alive? But it's not alive.
And I am alive. That's the difference. This is my point.
So how can but
they are different.
So then how can non-living things create living things?
No, but did I not say that's not what happens? Life comes only. It's never been seen nowhere to not come from life. The reason biology is its own sense because they realize life is special in this way, and nobody knows how it started. They cannot explain it.
Oh yeah,
Nobody knows. Nobody.
Yeah, I'm lost, boy. Yeah.
You are lost because you're going on like say these scientists have proof and they know where consciousness comes from. All of them are theorizing something because all of them will admit nobody knows.
They know that it emerged from electro. That's what it says, brother. I'm sorry. It emerged from the electromagnetic field.
Bruv, that guy told you that was his
It's
theory.
many sources. All of them talk. All of them talk about the ion channels, bro, and electrical currents.
Yeah, well, they was all theorizing.
Brother, no, they go.
On how you could describe the emergence of consciousness from the physical realm.
It says that it creates it. It says it creates it. It creates consciousness. It creates. Yeah, it says it, brother. Brother, don't. You can agree. You don't agree. It creates it, boy. Yeah, it says that it creates it, bro. Or arise. It used terms like arise, and creates, and even more.
Yeah, this is the theory. This is what they're theorizing.
No.
They're theorizing that. No,
Okay.
they are. That's what he said. They were all theories. All of your sources was a theory on how it arose. None of them know. That's why there's so many different theories and so many versions of events. Nobody knows how life came to be in the first place.
Not life, consciousness, bro. Consciousness. Just keep on saying life.
No, because that's the point. Bottom line, what I'm trying to say to you is a plant doesn't need a brain and it's conscious of its environment.
It reacts to electromagnetic radiation.
It reacts to its environment because
it reacts to electromagnetic radiation to photosynthesis with the sun. That's the answer,
brother.
You're
just in denial. You already admitted it senses the sunlight.
Yeah, senses. What is senses? That's what
exactly.
I'm trying to explain what senses is, but you're not comprehending what I'm saying. To sense something, it has to be going through a process of ion or frequency waves that convert it into ion, which creates actual potential, then creates electromagnetic field. I just explained it to you, bro. That's the answer. I just explained it to you.
Answer to what? So I'm saying that the plant senses things, which proves that it has a level of consciousness.
No, it proves that it creates electrical magnetic fields through ions. It has receptors. Plants got receptors. It had ion receptors. No, it's got receptors. Right? It's got receptors, so
that means it senses. That's what receptors do. They sense some sort of.
They pick up. No, you can't use a term to define what you're saying. Senses picks up ions to create actual potential to send a message to where it needs to go. That's what happens.
So the plant senses.
So the plant picks up the electromagnetic UV rays, yeah, and then and then through the ions it creates actual potential in some shape or form, or so chemical reactions.
Sense it or not? Does the plant sense the sunlight?
Yeah.
So it senses. I don't know why I've said it like 5 times. You keep saying something else. So
no, but the thing is, you're simplifying it.
No, because it is very simple.
No, it's not. It's not.
Let me just make the point. You just agreed it just now. It senses. The fact that it senses means that it's aware of the sunlight.
It has It has a sensory receptor. Yes.
Exactly. Which allows it to be aware of its external.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't agree to that match.
No, that doesn't make no sense. That doesn't make no sense. If something has a sensory apparatus and it reacts to the frequencies, to the stimulus, then that means it has an awareness. That's what.
What has an awareness? The actual organism or the receptor that is generating the stimuli.
The receptors not a part of the organism.
Huh?
Are the receptors not a part of the organism?
It's part of the organism, but it doesn't. It's not alone creates consciousness. It's not alone creates.
That makes no sense.
It does make plenty of sense. It makes plenty of sense. So that means.
Part of my body.
Huh?
My eyes are a part of my body. They sense the light.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they've got receptors, I can be aware of light.
Yes.
Yeah. So the fact that the plant has receptors like eyes, it is aware of light.
I want to say like eyes.
To be aware. Say that again.
I want to say like eyes, but yeah, I get your point. Go on, what you say? It doesn't mean.
It's a simple point.
It doesn't make it conscious though. It doesn't make it conscious.
It's conscious of the light. It's conscious of the light because it senses the light.
It reacts to the light. It reacts to lights. Yeah, it reacts.
You're saying it senses the light, and you're subtracting sensing the light to being conscious of the light. That's just wrong.
I'm saying senses occurs from chemical, mechanical, electrical reactions. That's all it does. It's a function. It's like an organ, yeah, that only does one function. That's what the photoreceptor that you're talking about does. That's all it does.
It senses the light.
It contributes to your. It contributes.
That's what allows the organism.
It contributes. It contributes to your consciousness, but it's not conscious in itself. No, it's not.
I'm not saying that. You're going around the houses to some other point. I'm making a simple point. That which is able to sense something,
it's conscious.
To be aware of something.
Yeah, but I won't agree with that.
To be aware of that thing is to sense that thing. To sense that thing is to be aware of that thing.
Okay.
To be aware of that thing is to sense that thing. Conscious of something is to be aware of it. So that means the plant is aware, conscious of the sunlight.
Okay.
You're still gonna disagree even though it's...
No, I see your point, brother. I see your point.
Right, thank you. Right,
I see your point.
Right. So cool. So the ability to be aware denotes a conscious element in a living thing, which inanimate objects don't have. They don't sense what's going on in their environment. They don't have no awareness of what's going on, so they don't have consciousness. This is the difference. So consciousness is key, and this is why it's classified to me and many people as the essence of life. Because only that which is able to be aware can be classified as alive.
Okay, that's your
Yeah, cool.
That's your theory. Fair enough.
Oh yeah, alright, so cool. Alright. This is the point I wanted to make now. Now I've been saying it for ages. You really do.
But it doesn't mean that I have it doesn't mean that I have to agree with that point though, cuz.
Yeah, cool. Don't agree with it because I can see how hard you don't want to agree anyway. So
nah, not really. Nah, man. I don't think so.
See how simple that point was, and you just wouldn't accept it, even though fucking simple.
No, because I'm breaking it down. I'm breaking it down.
Nah, bro, you break down, that was overcomplicated for no reason. And you're gonna make it sound like you've done something sensible. Because it's quite simple.
No, man, not everything is, brother, you're very logical, yeah, and you use common sense and that. I respect that. You're very logical, but you can't simplify it. Science, bro. You can't.
No, but some things are very simple, bro. And
no,
it seems. You know why I don't like it? Because it's for the sake of your argument.
No, it's not.
For the sake of your argument.
It's not.
Opposed to disagreeing what I'm saying first time, because you want to disagree.
I want you to learn, brother. Brother, if I don't break it down, how is anyone gonna learn, bro?
No, but if you make it sound more complicated than it is, everyone's confused.
No, I don't think so, man. And you, I think you, brother, you know. So when I'm speaking to you, I'm gonna break it down in that form because you can understand and you would learn. You learn like that. So I'm gonna give you the hardest way. But then, like I said, not everything that is logical and simplified is correct. And sometimes you do that. And sometimes you're off. So this is what I'm gonna make clear.
All right, cool.
This is what I want to make clear.
Tell me when I was off, yeah. Boom. This is the other importance of consciousness that you don't understand. I mentioned this field, and I see you throw some shade in there.
Right.
This quantum mechanics argument earlier, because you don't understand it about the split screen experiment and the nature of the election.
But I can even watch
it. Because you don't understand the quantum mechanics. This isn't a theory. You made it sound like this is some theory shit some people say. This is accepted physics that a lot of electronics that you use every day is based on quantum mechanics.
Yeah, but
understands that this is a fundamental reality of the nature of reality.
Okay.
Yeah? So the split screen experiment demonstrates the wave function reality at the basis of all matter. That is to say that when you like to use this word tangible, at the most fundamental level, at the subatomic level, shit isn't tangible. Nothing's physical.
What some atomic particle? Because there's not
like an electron. Let's keep it simple, yeah.
Yeah.
So you've seen the diagram of an atom, yeah.
Yeah.
Where it has the proton and the neutron in the nucleus, and it has the electron flying around it, orbiting it like a planet, right?
Yeah.
So this diagram is theoretical, meaning that's not really. That's just an image, so people can have the ability to kind of imagine what's going on in the atom. The reality of it is that that's not how an atom really works.
Okay.
The reality of the electron isn't a ball flying around the center of the atom. The reality is that it's just a cloud. It's a cloud of energy, and the electron only becomes in one particular place when a conscious observer perceives it to be there. This is what has been proven by physics several times.
Where? Show me. Send me a source.
I'll send you a source already.
No, not a video, bro. I want PDF.
Use that video. Use every term in there and Google it. There's 1,000,001 sources. This is old physics. It's still current.
Yeah, but
it's been accepted.
It's been.
I can send you 1,000,000, but if you want to look it up, just look up quantum mechanics, bro. It's simple. There's books on it. There's nothing literature on it. Like I said, I don't need to send you a source like this is my guy. I don't need to, because this is proven science, bro.
No. Okay, you're taking me back away from the world, yeah. So, like I said.
No. This is about consciousness. I'm not. Understand.
Bring it back to the human person.
Say that again.
Bring it back to the human being, because like I said, you're gonna take me to a realm that I haven't done my full. I can't have an opinion on something that I haven't done my fully. When it comes to the quantum mechanics and all that, I know about the subatomic particles. I know about electrons and protons and neutrons. I know how it works in the body. I know how it works in the body.
I'm saying you need to look up. This is why I said you need to look into it. This is why I've been saying that for a while.
Brother, there's something called the conservation of energy. Yeah.
Newton's laws. Yeah. That's Newton's laws. That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I'm talking about. All right. Yeah. I reckon. You know what? Yeah. I don't really.
No. Let me make.
Yeah. Make your point.
So you can take this away, because this is the point I'm trying to make about the other. So
fine.
There's two aspects of the relevance and importance of consciousness. One is the essence of life. In the way I've explained, it notes the difference between living and non-living things. And two, what has been shown by quantum mechanics is at the subatomic level, matter only takes the shape it takes based on observation, i.e. a conscious observer has to observe it. So they've done the experiment and they've realized for many years, they've done the split screen experiment. That's the most famous one, but they've done other ones. But that's the most easiest one to understand. If you shoot an electron through these two slits where the wavelength of the electron is the gap between the two slits. So basically the gap is and the gap between the two slits is the same size as the wavelength of the vibration of the electron, right? If you shoot it one at a time, you will perceive one. Say that again?
Yeah, they go different ways.
Yeah, you will perceive it.
So are you telling me that electrons and protons and a subatomic particle are conscious then?
No. See,
so what are you saying
why I needed to explain this because you didn't understand it. No. So what this experiment shows is essentially, even if you try and treat electrons like tangible matter, what you will find is that they act like waves. Yeah. Depending on how you've observed it.
Yeah.
So
everything.
When you observe it. Say that again.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Go on.
When you observe it, you look at it, you can find an electron in a specific place. But if you're not observing in it, then it will act like a wave. You know, like a wave isn't a physical thing, it's just a wave. So basically the slit experiment demonstrates
waves are physical things, bro. Waves are
Say that again?
Waves are physical, bro.
No, they're not physical in the sense like a wave in the ocean isn't physical.
Waves as in frequencies and vibrations and all that is physical, bro.
Exactly, the frequency, the frequency. This isn't the water's physical, right? But the wave isn't it? If you wave going through the ocean, the wave is just a certain amount of times it goes up and down within a certain amount of time.
It's forces, isn't it? It's force that pushes the wave. It's forces pushing water. That's what creates waves.
The water's not even moving. The water doesn't go anywhere, right?
I'll have to look into that. I'll have to look into that. I'm sure it's
You didn't know that. You don't know that. Yeah, when a wave is going up and down, the water's not moving forward.
From what though? From nothing. So there's no force.
Is making this motion, and
from,
this is all
from
that's
not
happening.
force.
The water is just the medium that allows. It's like when you make a sound.
Now, but from not forces.
The air,
from no force.
But what I'm saying is that the water's not being pushed forward.
Yeah, but it's force.
Not the water being pushed forward. It's a frequency just traveling through the water. Like when you make a sound,
I have to look
it's
into
a frequency traveling through the air. You're not projecting air. You're projecting a frequency.
No, what happens with
the same thing?
What happens with your air? Frequencies hits a drum and
then your ear vibrates.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not the air. The air isn't hitting your ear.
It's
the vibration.
It's electromagnetic.
Bro, that's a whole nother point. Understand what I'm saying is
go.
Between something that's a physical thing, like the air or the water in his example, and the frequency, the wave. Do you understand?
I have to look into that. Sorry, I don't know about.
Okay, you have to look into that. So look into all of this, what is being said here. This is what I'm saying. There's plenty for you to understand here. What they call this ability of the observer to turn a wave function into a physical specific point is collapsing the wave function. That's what they call it. So when an observer observes the experiment occur, all of a sudden the electron appears in a certain space. But without the observation, it's only potentially here. It's all the energy is equally spread. The energy, imagine like there's 10 watts of energy in the electron, right?
Yeah.
What you will register when it's not observed is several potential points that this electron can be at, all of them having 10 watts of energy. So it's like the same electron is in all the places at the same time. Only when the observer looks does the electron actually end up in one place. Yeah? This is how quantum mechanics, this is how all our chips and our microchips and all of this shit, this is what is built around this understanding of probabilities.
Okay.
I mean, based on quantum mechanics, there is no real reason why I can't just turn into a duck. Based on material science, the laws of material reality, there's no reason that I don't just change into a cow and into a stone, because literally the matter that makes me up is made of these fundamental particles that can be another way and can be another way, and they are only perceived a certain way when the observer sees them, when consciousness comes into play. And this has been shown. So it's a strange reality that we live in.
So how do you just jump consciousness in there? You just jump consciousness right in there.
But an observer. This is the point of the split screen experiment. Observation changes the results. You need to be it needs to be a consciousness that can observe, right? Something that is capable of being aware of what's going on, something that is capable of perceiving.
Yeah,
so
but do they have answers? Do they have an answer? Or do they have an answer of how things of that occur? Or
they're still studying it, but what has been shown many a time is that it's definitely real. Like I said, our mechanics, our technology today is based on this understanding.
I don't listen, brother. I'm not gonna disagree with that.
Yeah, don't disagree. Just look it up. But what I'm saying is true. Our science today, all the technology we have is quantum. Whenever you hear them talking about the quantum level, the subatomic level, all these chips that we have that are super fast and super small and all this is based on the quantum reality that the quantum mechanics allows us to use to use this technology and create all this new shit. Yeah. And it's by understanding that on a subatomic level, tangible reality isn't really like that. It's probability. Nothing is specifically where it is. It could be in a whole bunch of places. And
so basically what you're trying to say is what you're still trying to push is the fact that unmaterial things, it must be present. Or
consciousness is required for reality to look the way it looks. This is what I'm suggesting.
No, you're saying unmaterial.
An observer is required.
Oh, okay.
Consciousness is required.
Observer.
For material reality to take the shape that it takes, a consciousness is required to perceive it a specific way, to collapse the wave function, as the physicists would say. Because something causes the wave function, and like I said, based on just material reality, have you got a presentation that you can pull up?
Like
I said, bro. Because remember, like I said, the reason why I, like me and you might go back and forth and all that is because like the thing is, I need more. I need more than just, you know. I understand that and I see it, and you showed me a lot, but it's more, especially for this channel as well.
Have to believe me. All I'm saying is you're asking me for a presentation. I'm saying this is
a teaching tool, bro. It's a teaching tool for my channel.
No, I hear you. I've just explained the general points of quantum mechanics. Now, this is my suggestion.
Okay.
If you want to understand what I'm saying, just research it. Because this is not me. This is not my theory, fam. This is a well-accepted, well-studied, well-documented field of physics.
Fair enough. What's it called? What's it?
Put amount of books on it.
Is it got a name? Is it dualism?
Quantum mechanics.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but so what? Your whole thing is quantum mechanics, and it's not dualism.
Bro, dualism is just this white guy's interpretation of
quantum mechanics.
Logic, that's just a term they use to describe a logic and to demonize the concept because they don't like how it's presented to them.
Okay, fair enough.
So I don't use the term dualism. That's you trying to say that's what I believe in. I've never used that term, but I've heard it. I know that's what they say, but I don't give a shit what they say because again, consciousness is key to life. This is just improved as far as I'm concerned. And physics, science, what you love, proves that consciousness is key to the way matter exists and is perceived. Now, obviously, it's key to perception. That goes without saying. What you're conscious of is going to decide what you perceive. But what I'm saying is deeper than that, because quantum mechanics suggests that it requires an observer for the wave function to collapse, for an electron to take its particular position in the particular way that all the electrons have in my body requires a consciousness to perceive them to be a certain way. That's mad, but it's true.
Oh shit, my battery dead though still. But yeah, man.
I just want you to research that.
Yeah, we go. Yeah. I think that'd be a start anyway. So I think that will. You know, you're gonna rebuttal, and that's what it is, right? So this is how two intellectual combine information, teaching the people, and then this is how debate should be like. You know, so salute to Matt's Fit. And then we see him again. I want to encourage him to do a presentation so he can start teaching the people as well on his philosophy and his theory and why that he sticks to what he sticks to and why I stick to what I stick to. And they showed why, and now he needs to show his. So I'm going to encourage him to do something, at least something, and we talk more about it. Yeah.
Yeah, man really said you don't know the difference between a living thing and a dead.
Bro, because my brain was gone. My brain was gone, and I weren't concentrating. But hey, listen, before anything cuts off, bruv, salute to you though, Matchfit, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't want to lose this. Alright, bless. Bing bang.
You wanna play games? Okay. I'll play with you. Come on. Okay. Do you wanna play rough? Okay. Uno. Say hello to my little friend! Okay. You wanna play rough? Okay. Yeah. Okay, Yolanda!